If your business is stressing you out, get a coach to help you identify the areas of your business that are stressing you out and then outsource those areas to somebody else. There are things that you love doing and there are things that you hate doing. There are things that you're amazing at and there are things that you're terrible at. The things that you're terrible at, you shouldn't be doing.
Your relationship with money matters. I'm Michelle Perkins, and this is the Money and You podcast, where I will be breaking down your relationship with money, offering tough love money tips, and a money dating plan that will focus on lifting the barriers to success to help pave the way for better money practices and increased wealth. It's time to take control to live a limit-free life. It starts today. Hello, and welcome to the Money and You Show. I'm Michelle Perkins, your host, and super excited to have you here today. We have a phenomenal guest and a phenomenal show, and I myself am right in the middle of rethinking my marketing that I've done for a long time and whether I should actually be the one doing it and how much money that has probably cost me over the years. And so I'm thrilled today to have a very talented, smart, and savvy digital marketing expert and now LinkedIn expert. Joe Apfebaum is the CEO of Ajax Union, a digital marketing agency. Joe is a business strategist, marketing expert, AI consultant, and certified Google trainer. Joe enjoys speaking and writing about marketing, business networking, and personal development in his seminars, webinars, and articles. Joe is the guest expert of the popular podcast High Energy Marketing. Joe's the author of 5 books, including High Energy Marketing. As a LinkedIn trainer and strategist, Joe trains over 600 businesses and sales professionals on how to leverage LinkedIn each year in his online course and coaching sessions with Evergreen Networking. Joe's an active member of the Executive Association of New York City, a premier business networking organization. His network includes members of Vistage, EO, YPO, YEC, and the Inc. 5000 community. Joe is a selfie master. He takes 1,000 selfies a year with entrepreneurs and makes hundreds of introductions to business professionals in his network. Joe is proud of all his accomplishments, but for most of all, he is proud of his purpose, being the best possible single dad to his 5 beautiful, amazing children. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you for having me here. I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you. We're really excited. 5 kids. We could talk a long time about that, but we won't on this show, but that's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
So listen, Joe, you are a wealth of knowledge, and digital marketing is a huge area. So I want to let you kind of take us into the world with what you're currently working on, and also what is most relevant and current and important for people now. You want to tell us a bit about how you got to doing this?
Yeah, so I used to build websites. They say if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
I built websites. Nobody came. So I had to learn how to market those websites. And going through that process, I learned something called search optimization. And so I sent a lot of traffic to people's websites, and people were really happy and they were getting customers. But the problem is they were getting the wrong types of customers, or often they were getting leads, but they weren't getting customers. And so I had to learn strategy. And they say the right strategy will save you a decade. And so now what we do is we build marketing funnels for companies. And often to get the right type of traffic, you need to use social media, especially in today's day and age when I started teaching LinkedIn over a decade ago, there were only 65 million members on LinkedIn. Now there's almost 1 billion professionals on LinkedIn. That's a lot of people. So learning how to get the right people, be able to see the right message at the right time can be the difference between making money or just getting unqualified leads or just getting ignored. So that's kind of like where we're at right now. And now with the accessibility for artificial intelligence, it's making everything even more relevant and more accessible for the average person. But at the same time, the danger is that if you don't have a strategy, you can create a lot of content very quickly that's not relevant with robots. And that's not going to help you. It's going to even get you even more ignored and be even more irrelevant. So having a strategy is more important than ever today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you brought that up. I talk about strategy a lot, whether it's with money or with your just general business plan. And I think sometimes we learn these marketing. So I know I go to a lot of events. Some speaker will get up there and talk about a particular marketing strategy. And, for one thing, you're motivated and you're inspired and you just want to go for it. And it's not fitting into really a whole strategic plan. It's just the cool new marketing thing that everybody's doing that they're saying you have to do. So I kind of, how do we manage all of these marketing ideas that are coming at us?
Well, the way that we manage all the marketing ideas that are coming at us is by qualifying those marketing ideas. You have to prioritize based on your business and what you're doing. So let's say, for example, you're a coach or you're a consultant. Well, using Instagram, you might not get the same results as using LinkedIn or using Facebook or Snapchat or TikTok. The results that you're going to get on LinkedIn for specifically a business coach or a business consultant is going to be much better. But if you're a jeweler, like you're selling jewelry, probably Instagram is going to be better than LinkedIn for you. If you're selling to jewelers, like we have a client that sells materials to jewelers that polish jewelry, then LinkedIn is better because you're doing wholesale, you're doing business to business. Now, B2C can work on LinkedIn really well, like real estate brokers, mortgage brokers, they can do really well on LinkedIn. But it depends on what you're doing because there's a lot of different tactics, there's a lot of different strategies that are coming at your way. And the best thing to do is to speak to a marketing advisor, a marketing consultant, someone who's an expert at marketing, have them learn about your business and help you create a strategy that will help you grow your business. Because the right strategy will save you a decade. Learning what strategy is right for your business will help you be able to reach your ideal target market. Now realize that your ideal target market is not on every single platform. There are different people that are using Threads and Snapchat than are using LinkedIn or Alignable. I don't know if you've ever heard of Alignable, but it's a referral network with 8 million business owners that's growing really quickly.
Wow, interesting. I've always sort of ignored that one, but yeah, I see it a lot. Okay, let's talk about this. I love what you said about the right marketing strategy will save you a decade. So obviously, saving you a decade means saving you time and money, and that's a huge thing. And I'll be honest, I feel that. I feel that if I hadn't done my own marketing this whole time, it would have saved me a decade. So it's very interesting to think about that. Because okay. So the other thing I think that happens to people is they feel they have to know a certain amount on their own or try a certain amount of marketing things on their own before they're willing to call the expert, as you were just talking about. What would you say to that?
What I would say is if you want to be able to be successful, you first have to decide your business goals. What do you want to achieve from a business perspective? I was recently talking to somebody and he's like, I spent $16,000 on marketing. They paid $4,000 a month for 4 months and I didn't get anything. I failed. Have you ever heard of anybody that failed with marketing? Really? You failed? What I tell people is that marketing is about testing. So you got to write that down. Marketing is about testing. There's no way to fail in marketing unless you don't have your goals and you're not testing. If you expected vague things, if your goals are very vague, like, for example, I want to make more money, more is not something that you can possibly do. So you failed not with your marketing, you failed with your strategy. Because a very important component to your strategy is knowing where you want to go. If you open up a GPS and you tell it to take you, but you don't tell it where to take you, how's it going to be successful? It's going to take you somewhere, but you didn't want to go there. You don't know what you want, you're not going to get what you want. Yeah. So being very, very specific around what you're looking for and what you're willing to pay for it is going to be important. So that's part of it. That's part of it, understanding who your ideal customer is, what you want them to spend with you, what you can afford to pay for them to be able to become a customer of yours is a really key, important part. So before you start any marketing strategy, you need to first set your business goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And I agree with you. I think you need a professional really to even set those goals properly, because otherwise you will be vague and you will be, perhaps unrealistic or whatever, but you need somebody to kind of ask the right questions to get you to the right goals, I think.
And when we teach people how to use LinkedIn, we have a LinkedIn training course when we teach people how to use LinkedIn, one of the things that we do right at the beginning is to say, okay, what would you like to achieve from LinkedIn? And often people are confused. They're like, what do you mean what I like to achieve? I want clients. Okay, how many clients? As many as possible. Well, as many as possible is not, you're never going to be able to track that, and you're never going to be able to be satisfied. You don't come in and just get as many as possible. You get a specific amount for a specific amount of time that you're going to spend on it. Now, if you're using artificial intelligence, you'll be able to do things faster. For example, like leaving comments, we created a tool that allows you to leave comments on LinkedIn very quickly. So instead of dropping one comment in 5 minutes, you can drop 10 comments on different people's profiles that are highly, highly personalized and customized based on the post and based on who you are and based on what you do for a living. And so understanding how to do that using technology, you'll save a lot of time. And that's why it's so important to take a step back and get the training that you need if you're going to do it yourself, or hire professionals that will help you do it. But before you do any of that, it's like really understanding what you want to do, for what you want to get out of it, will help you be able to determine whether you're going to get it or not.
Yeah. Okay. Love that. Let's talk about what's changed with respect to LinkedIn, because I personally love LinkedIn. I was working a lot with career changers and small business owners, and so LinkedIn was a really important tool for people. As you're saying, it still is, but I have noticed changes. So what are the sort of latest things going on with LinkedIn that people should know about?
The latest things that's going on with LinkedIn is that LinkedIn is changing. You know, a few years ago, Microsoft paid to buy LinkedIn. I don't know if anybody knows this, but Microsoft paid $26.2 billion to acquire LinkedIn a few years ago, and they changed it. It used to be that LinkedIn was a place where people put up their resumes, where you went on, you created a profile, and you connected with your coworkers. LinkedIn has transformed into a content marketing platform. It's a place where if you post content, you'll get hundreds of people, if not thousands of people, that will see your content. Unlike your website, where you post something on a blog or something and nobody sees it, maybe you get 5 people to look at it. On LinkedIn, you can get thousands of people to see your stuff when you post it. So it's not just a networking platform where you connect with people and you can message people and you can join groups, but it's also a content marketing platform where you can post videos and posts and images and articles that are all business related. And then you can see who likes and comments on it. You can see who looked at your profile. The way that LinkedIn stands out from any other social platform is that on LinkedIn, you see everything about a person. You see their first name, you see their last name, their company name, where they work, where they worked before, where they went to school, everything they posted, everything they commented on. You see their activities, see their recommendations, you see their skills. You see the people that work at their company. If you go to their company page, you can even see any ads that they ran. There's so much information that tells you a lot about a company, that tells you a lot about a person, that can help you be able to dig deeper and build real relationships. When I see the mutual context that I have with you, I start learning about how I can connect with my target market through your connections. That's powerful. Referral-based marketing is extremely powerful because 80% of introductions will turn into a meeting, whereas only 1 to 2% of cold calls will actually turn into a meeting. And so if you want to accelerate the amount of money that you make, learning how to leverage LinkedIn and using AI with LinkedIn could be extremely powerful for doing that.
Okay. Yeah. And so connecting with people, that's all done in the same way that we've done it since the beginning of LinkedIn. Is that correct?
Yeah, connecting with people is done in the same way, except now you have the ability to customize the invitation with a note. So that invitation note is extremely important. So if I want to connect with you, if I want to send you a connection request on LinkedIn, so I'll go to your profile, I'll click, I'll see, hey, look at that. I see exactly what you're up to. And when I press connect, I press the more button and I press connect, I have the ability to customize the invite. Now, often people don't know what to say. So if you don't know what to say, then we have an AI tool that will tell you exactly what to say. It'll fill in their name. It'll fill in the context of why they should accept your connection request, any connection that you have to them, and then it'll sign it off asking them if they're willing to connect with you and then put your name at the end. So it's very powerful in terms of the customization that you'll get using artificial intelligence. But yeah, when you're sending a connection request, I highly recommend including a note. When I sent you a connection request, that's still pending, by the way.
Mine too.
I customized it for you so that you could see that I was doing it methodically, and I wasn't just, clicking connect with everyone that I see.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I love that. And I do think I've always loved putting a note in there because it kind of gets you to look around and, look at the person's information and see where you have some commonality, whether that's an interest or a company or, so I think it's a great starting point anyway. I know people who will not accept a connection request without a note. So, it is, I think, more important than it used to be. But how, okay, so you're talking about using AI. When you say that, what exactly are we talking about here?
So let's say you go to LinkedIn.com from a web browser, like Google Chrome, for example. I don't know do you use Google Chrome?
I use Safari, but it's probably negative.
So Google Chrome has something called extensions. Are you familiar with Google Chrome extensions?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you use Google Chrome, you have something called extensions that allow you to be able to add add-ons or apps. They call it extensions. They allow you to add those extensions to a website, to your browser, which allows you to enhance that website. So let's say you're using LinkedIn with Google Chrome. You can add an extension that we created called EvyAI, EVYAI.com. And with EvyAI, you're able to tap into the power of artificial intelligence on LinkedIn. Oh. So when you go on LinkedIn, and for example, if you go to the homepage of LinkedIn and you see there's a feed and there's posts on the feed, and you press the comment button, there'll be a box that appears that says add a comment. I'm sure many of you have seen that box. If you have the extension installed, next to that box, there'll be a button with a purple icon, and then a box will pop up when you click on that button, and it'll ask you, what is your goal? And what tone would you like to use? And when you press generate, it'll actually read the post, read your profile, read their profile, and generate a insightful comment that's extremely well written and customized. And if you like it, you press insert. If you don't like it, you can change the goal, you can change the tone, you can regenerate it, you can mess around with it. And when you press insert, it'll just put it into the post, and then you can edit it more if you want. And if not, you can just press a post, and it'll post the comment, and you're done. And that can happen in a matter of seconds, like 3 seconds. Wow. So you can do it really, really quickly, and you can leave very powerful comments on people's profiles, on their posts, which gives you a tremendous amount of credibility with those people.
So that's the goal there, is to kind of build credibility, make new connections because people notice your comment, and then they want to connect with you. Is there more to it?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, an author takes the time to write a post. Most people are not posting often, but if an author takes the time to actually write a post, that post is meaningful to them. Mm-hmm. And it takes time for them to write the post. And then for them to see that 500 people looked at the post and nobody commented, sometimes could be disheartening. But at the same time, when they see that you took the time to leave a meaningful comment that's relevant, it actually makes them feel really good about you. So it's a form of giving. You're actually promoting their post when you leave a comment. And it's not bothering them. They actually like it. They like the fact that you left a comment. And so I've had people reach out to me and say, Joe, I'd like to do business with you. I see that you're always commenting on my posts. I'd like to figure out a way for us to do business together. Or I have a referral for you. It's also a great way to stay top of mind with your clients. Let's say you have a client, you have a proposal out. You don't want to keep asking them over and over and over, did you decide yet? Instead, you can stay in front of mind with them, top of mind with them, by leaving comments on the post that they're giving. It's like making a little comment. You see somebody said something at a networking event, you can go in there and drop a comment. And most people are not commenting on LinkedIn because they don't have the time, or they have something called writer's block. When you have writer's block, it's hard to remember it's hard to think about what to write. But with AI, you never have writer's block anymore because AI has an unlimited amount of generative content that it can create with a click of a button.
Wow. Okay, that's super interesting. So I'm assuming that putting these comments in is part of an overall LinkedIn strategy. Do you want to elaborate on
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are three things you want to do on LinkedIn every single day.
Oh,
You want to get exposure. That's by posting. You can post once a day on LinkedIn. And if you don't know what to post, my extension will write the post for you. And you
wow.
just have to edit it. You can tell it a topic that you wanted to post about. It'll write the whole post A to Z. Let's say you say, give money making tips for entrepreneurs. It'll write a bunch of money making tips. You customize it and then you press post. I recommend posting at least once a day. Why? Because people come to LinkedIn every single day. And you want to make sure that you're there posting on LinkedIn when people are there. So, number one is if you want exposure, you got to post. That's the first thing. The second thing you want to do is you want credibility. How do you get credibility on LinkedIn? By leaving comments. We said that already. Leaving comments is extremely efficient at getting credibility. And we gave reasons why. Authors worked really hard on writing a post. They didn't get any comments. You went and showed people that you're real and left a really solid comment. That builds credibility. And the third thing is you want to book meetings. And the way that you book meetings is by sending direct messages. But often you don't know what to write in the message. That's where EVI comes in. We can help you be able to write those messages in a professional way. A lot of people are also, they don't really have great grammar or they don't really know exactly what to say or how to say it in a professional way. With AI, you can have it write it with a specific tone in mind and using a specific voice. It's really powerful what you can do.
Wow. Okay, that is super interesting. So, in terms of messaging people, you're talking about messaging through LinkedIn or sending them an email. A big change I've noticed with LinkedIn is that it was always direct messages through LinkedIn for, it seemed like to me anyway. And now I get a lot in my email inbox from LinkedIn of people reaching out either to ask me to join their newsletter or, something.
Yeah, so LinkedIn did create a new feature called LinkedIn Newsletter. So automatically when someone launches a newsletter, if you're subscribed to the newsletter, you're going to get an email with that newsletter. So if you have 50 people that you subscribe to their newsletter and they're publishing a newsletter every week, you're going to get an email every week from those 50 people. It's 50 new emails a week. That's a lot.
Yeah.
My recommendation is to direct message people on LinkedIn where they don't necessarily get an email unless the notifications are on, where they get a notification about the message that they received, but then they still have to click on that notification and go into LinkedIn and see the message. So if you go to linkedin.com/messaging, you can see all the messages in there. It's almost like a separate email inbox. And in there, it's almost like a chat. Each message is like a chat where you're chatting with someone. So just like you have WhatsApp or you have text messaging or you have the Apple chat or whatever it's called, iMessage. So it's the same thing with LinkedIn. You have a chat, just like Instagram has a chat, Facebook has a chat messaging system. LinkedIn has its own messaging system, and you can message your connections. You have hundreds of connections or thousands of connections. You can message those connections, but most people are not messaging those connections. You're not messaging your connections. You're actually missing out on building that relationship, even going even deeper behind the scenes. So I definitely recommend messaging connections. At least send them a happy birthday because LinkedIn notifies you everybody's birthday. If you go to linkedin.com/celebrations, did you know that?
Yeah.
LinkedIn tells you everybody's birthdays.
Yeah.
So I recommend wishing all your connections that have a birthday, say on August 2nd or August 1st or whatever date it is, you wish them a happy birthday. And if you're not sure what to write, you can have artificial intelligence write it up for you. So you don't have to think about what to write. You can literally just click a button and it'll generate a DM for you.
I love that. So did you create this extension creation for people because you were finding that people didn't know what to write and so they weren't writing in all of these categories?
We've trained over 1,000 clients on how to use LinkedIn. And the biggest problem our clients have is we don't know what to post. They know what to post, but they're just afraid to do it. And so having artificial intelligence write it up for you very quickly, and then you just customize it a little bit more, is much easier. And so people have found that transformational. We have over 500 clients now that are using our AI software, and it's really transforming the way that they operate. It makes their life so much easier. It's much easier to edit something than it is to write it from scratch. And so if you have it write a post for you or write a comment for you or write a DM or customize a LinkedIn invitation note, we even can write recommendations on your behalf. So let's say you want to recommend, I don't know if you know this, but you can go to somebody's profile that you're connected to and you can press recommend this person and it'll create a recommendation for that person. And that's extremely powerful, but a lot of people don't know what to write in a recommendation. What am I supposed to write? So the AI will read their profile, read your relationship with them, and it'll actually write something on your behalf, which is extremely useful for our clients to be able to do. So the reason we created this tool is so that people don't have to leave LinkedIn and go to another AI tool like ChatGPT, which I'm sure you heard of. Usually people would have to copy and paste the post into ChatGPT and said, write a comment for this post, and then copy and paste the comment back into LinkedIn. That's a pain in the butt. Who wants to do that? Instead, you could use my extension that's already built in. I tie into ChatGPT through their API, so you don't have to worry about having an OpenAI account. And you just push a button, and it generates a comment, and you press insert, and it gets inserted. And that's it. Have a good day. You move on with your life.
So interesting. Okay, I love that. It does solve that problem. I mean, I've heard that question too a lot. When I would tell people to start using LinkedIn, it just they would get stuck on what to post. So yeah, that's fantastic. That really covers a lot of LinkedIn ground. Now that said, if people have to be on LinkedIn, or don't have to, but if people could be on LinkedIn every day, how long are we talking? Like, how much time do you think people actually should spend on LinkedIn?
I recommend that people spend a minimum of 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So here are the things that you should do if you're spending 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn. Spend 5 minutes leaving comments that are strategic comments on people's posts. That's number one. How many comments can you leave on 5 minutes? Well, if you're doing it manually, you can only leave 2 or 3 comments. But if you're using AI, you could leave 10 to 20 comments. So I recommend using AI and leave 10 to 20 comments in 5 minutes. The second thing you want to do is you want to write a post on LinkedIn. If you're doing it manually, it's going to take you 30 minutes to an hour. If you're using AI, it's going to take you 2 to 3 minutes, and then you spend another 2 minutes customizing it, and then you post it. You don't overthink it.
Yeah.
So 5 minutes posting something meaningful on LinkedIn, and then spend a few minutes sending out direct messages and a few minutes connecting to a few more people on LinkedIn. And if you do that, spend 15 minutes on LinkedIn, then you're going to get exposure because you're posting. You're going to get credibility because you're leaving comments. And you're going to book meetings because you're expanding your connections and you're direct messaging the ones you already have. If you do those activities, you're going to be much more likely to be successful on LinkedIn, and you're going to start getting results.
Yeah. Okay. So results. How do we more specifically talk about the results? I mean, clearly more connections. That is a result. What else can people maybe be asking for? What can we hope to see as results from all of this?
Connections alone are not enough.
Okay.
If you just have a connection, that's not enough. It needs to be a qualified connection. If you don't have a qualified connection, then it doesn't really help if you have a connection with someone that can't do business with you and can't refer business to you. So you want to make sure that the connections that you're creating are qualified. You only have a limited amount of connections that you can have. There is a limited amount of connections. You can only have 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. It's still a lot, but it's a limited amount. There's 930 million members right now, and it's growing rapidly. So my recommendation is to make sure that your connections that you're adding are qualified connections. And if you have qualified connections, you're much more likely to be successful with LinkedIn. So what does successful even mean? Successful could mean generating revenue. Successful could mean having meaningful conversations. Success is defined by you. You need to define your own success. If you don't define your own success, you're never going to hit it. That's what we were talking about at the beginning. Part of your strategy needs to be defining success. So for me, success on LinkedIn is having 5 conversations every day. If I can have 5 phone calls every day, I'm successful, especially if they're qualified conversations with people that I could either refer business to me or do business with me. So every single day I make it a point, I'm looking at my calendar. Today I had 5 conversations. This is not one of the conversations. This is a podcast. In addition to having 5 conversations on LinkedIn, I'm also on about 10 different podcasts every single month. And And I often will get those podcasts as a result of me being active on LinkedIn. People hit me up and they're like, Joe, would you like to be on my podcast?
Yeah. Okay. Love that. Love that. So, okay, that's a lot of great information. Hopefully people, if they haven't been using LinkedIn that much, are feeling motivated to get back on there. I know I go through lulls, where I'm very active on it, then I'm kind of not active on it, which is not a recipe for the best strategy. But this has gotten me to rethink things like the profile that I've been saying for 2 years I would update. Any tips on the profile, or will your AI help write that?
So the AI will help write your profile. If you install the AI and then you go to your profile and you go into the about section and you press the AI button inside the about section, it'll read the current profile that you have and it'll rewrite it completely. So the about section and the headline are the two most important parts of your profile, is because when someone's searching on LinkedIn, for example, if someone searches LinkedIn expert or AI trainer, they're going to find me on LinkedIn because I have those words in my headline and I have those words inside my about section. One of my main keywords is B2B marketing. I get clients for my B2B marketing agency because I customized my profile in a very friendly way in the about section and in the headline. So yeah, AI is going to help you craft it, and it'll also organize it in a meaningful way. Extremely powerful. So what do I recommend doing on your profile? I recommend your photo, getting an optimized photo, getting a good banner, getting a solid headline, getting a solid about section, getting at least 3 recommendations, making sure you have your skills in order, making sure you have a good experience, that your experience section is updated and it's telling a story. And artificial intelligence can help you with a lot of that. Even having images. There's a website that's an AI photographer that you upload a bunch of selfies of yourself and it creates beautiful professional headshots. Me wearing a 3-piece suit. I didn't have to put on the 3-piece suit. The AI did it for me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's really funny. Very interesting. Okay, and that's all through your AI app as well?
Yeah, so my AI app doesn't create images yet, but we do have recommended services that do images. Right now, we're just creating the content for your profile.
Wow. Okay. Super interesting. That sounds amazing. Actually, it sounds like a big time saver and, frankly, just a more effective marketing option for you. Tell us about the book that we're looking at right now, High Energy Networking.
So I wrote 5 books: High Energy Secrets, High Energy Marketing, High Energy Purpose. This book, specifically High Energy Networking, I wrote because people were asking me, Joe, how do I network? 90% of people are afraid of public speaking.
Yeah.
And networking is a form of public speaking. You're meeting strangers, you're having conversations with people, and people are scared to do it. One of the ways to overcome your fear is by having a strategy and preparing. Preparation can cure fear. So reading this book will help you be able to understand how I used to be afraid of networking and public speaking and how I overcame that fear by having a strategy. And I'd share a strategy of how to be able to network effectively.
Very nice. Okay, thank you. And we can get that on Amazon. Yeah, there's a lot of ways. I mean, you are a wealth of information. There are a lot of other marketing areas. We've focused a lot on LinkedIn. Do you want to just mention a couple other areas that you particularly enjoy working in?
I enjoy working I love the stock market. So making sure I have the right stocks, the right equities. I love real estate. I just bought a home.
Nice.
So I love investing in unique pieces of real estate and that will go up in value or that will be able to produce cash flow. I love investing in businesses. So I've invested in a couple of businesses, particularly businesses that are in line with what I believe in and businesses that I believe will really take off and make an impact for people. I really enjoy playing strategy games, like, for example, chess. It really sharpens me. It helps me be able to think ahead. And I love fitness. I love rollerblading and I love kayaking and I love running and exercising because I know that it makes me stronger, it makes me feel better, and it helps me be able to improve all the different areas of my life. So those are some of my interests that I'm really excited about. Another thing that I recently took up doing is doing stand-up comedy. So I love getting in front of a crowd and making people laugh because I believe that laughter is the best medicine.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. That's great. I love just the example of somebody who's built, the businesses you've built and is also making time for these other passions and, kind of endeavors. I think it's so important that we don't just build this kind of business around us that becomes ultimately just, kind of something that
job.
takes all of our time and all of our energy and stresses us out. So,
Yeah, if your business is stressing you out, you got to take a step back and start working on your business instead of in your business. If your business is stressing you out, it's because there are elements of your business that you hate doing that you need to outsource. There were times where I really didn't enjoy my business. And because I didn't enjoy my business, I didn't want to put my passion into it. So what I tell you is if your business is stressing you out, get a coach to help you identify the areas of your business that are stressing you out and then outsource those areas to somebody else. There are things that you love doing and there are things that you hate doing. There are things that you're amazing at and there are things that you're terrible at. The things that you're terrible at, you shouldn't be doing.
yeah.
Find somebody else that's much better than you at that and then do the things that you're really good at. Your unique ability is how you're going to scale and how you're going to feel good about your business.
Yeah, I thank you. And, to that point, that's a great point. It's so incredibly important. And I think, in general, it's a hard lesson for a lot of entrepreneurs. There's that question of money. Well, I don't have enough capital yet, and so I've got to do it all myself. But the reality is, I think that's where you lose that decade, as you were saying.
There's an outsourcing model these days where you can outsource. Let's say you can't afford to hire a full-time CFO. You don't have $300,000 to pay for a CFO. Well, then find an outsourced CFO and pay them $500 a month or pay them $1,000 a month. And if you don't even have that, then either get a loan or figure out a way to make it happen. You don't need more resources. You need to learn to be more resourceful with what you already have. When I started my business, I was bartering with people. I would give them one service and they would provide me another service. There's always something that you can give somebody else. There's always some way that you can add value to somebody that they'll be willing to help you. And so really think about being more resourceful. Think about ways, I recently told somebody, you really need an assistant. They're like, I can't afford an assistant. I said, you can't afford an assistant? How much does an assistant cost? And they're like, I don't know, thousands of dollars. I said, what if you hire an assistant for 30 minutes a day to help you with some executive tasks? They're like, what can they possibly do in 30 minutes a day? I said, something that's going to make you stop doing your non-revenue generating activities. They're like what? I was like, what do you do in the morning that's pulling your hair out? They're like, organizing my schedule. I end up just procrastinating it and I don't organize my schedule. I said, there you go. Sit with an assistant 30 minutes a day and have the assistant help you organize your schedule every morning for 30 minutes. And hire somebody. There are people in the world that are willing, I don't know if you know this, but minimum wage in countries like Malaysia is $1 an hour. Pay somebody 5 times minimum wage, pay them $5 an hour for 30 minutes is $2.50, and have them help you organize your schedule in the morning. And they're like, wow, I never thought about that. With the internet, we're in a world where you can find people all over the world to help you. I have employees in 30 different countries helping me with a variety of different things, from Pakistan to India to Malaysia to Colombia to the Dominican Republic to Canada to all over the U.S. I have people all over the world helping me out. I have people in Italy. I have people in the UK. And they're doing different things for me. And at different times, I had people in Jamaica working for me and people in Mexico. There's no excuse. Well, there are a lot of excuses, but excuses are not going to get you results. You either have reasons or you have results. And if you make a lot of reasons, you're not going to have a lot of results.
Yeah. Wow. That was beautiful. Yeah. I love that. I love the idea of 30 minutes in the morning as a little starting point. And yeah, that was great because it is important when, just to circle back to LinkedIn for a minute, is that something we should be doing ourselves or should we be delegating that one to someone, to an assistant.
If you don't enjoy doing it, then delegate it. But before you delegate it, get a strategy, a solid strategy that works. You have to, before you delegate anything, you have to know that it works. You can't just delegate it and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And so you have to learn the strategy, make sure that you understand it, make sure that it aligns with your business goals, make sure that it makes sense, and then you can outsource it. It's the same thing when you're hiring someone to clean your house. Let's say you don't want to clean your house and you can't afford to hire somebody to clean your entire house. Okay, hire somebody to just clean your bathroom because that's the part that you don't want to clean. Hire somebody for an hour a week to come and clean your bathroom and maybe your kitchen, or maybe a part of your kitchen, just your oven, the stuff that's really hard. And you find someone to do it for you, and somebody comes in and does it for you. But if you don't tell them how you want them to do it, they'll come in and just do anything, and you're not going to be happy. Maybe you like when your mirror is sparkling with a very specific finish. Maybe you like when they put baking soda on lemon and scrub your mirror with baking soda and lemon, but you never told them that, so you're just not happy. You need to tell them exactly how you want them to work, maybe even make a checklist for them, and that's how you're going to get what you want. Same thing with LinkedIn. If you're not sure what you want them to do, they're just going to come in and do anything for you. And that's not going to help you be able to get to your goal. You got to be very specific.
Yeah. Okay. This is great. The one thing that struck me about you, I was listening to some of your podcasts, and you have clearly, enjoyed the personal development world. And each of your podcasts that I listened to had sort of an inspirational moment, which I really enjoyed because I'm sort of a personal development junkie. And it was really it was a really good kind of way to set somebody up just to be open to learning new things and to sort of go for it in their business. We're almost out of time here, but I'd love to hear, a little about that and just how that's impacted your business to do that work.
I believe that you can only grow your business as much as you grow yourself. I heard Jim Rohn say that, and I really believe that. I really believe that you can only grow your business as much as you grow yourself. When we start in business and we don't have a lot of experience, we don't really know much. We don't really know much about ourselves. How can you hire employees and tell them how to be if you yourself don't know how to be? You need to optimize your habits. We are not born with a manual. You either learn how to deal with your emotions at home from your parents, and most of the time your parents don't even know how to deal with their own emotions, so how are they going to teach you? And then you learn it in therapy, or you learn it with coaches. And so a lot of the mind, a lot of the thinking that we have from our parents, it's not going to help us be able to get to the next level. We're limited. So if you have a fixed mindset, if your mindset, your thoughts, your beliefs, you're stuck in them, you're not going to be able to get to the next level, not in your business and not in your life and not in your relationships and not in your health. And so I had to rewire my neural networks, my neural pathways about health. I used to be 100 pounds heavier than I am today. I used to be afraid of writing. I used to be afraid of social media. I used to be afraid of putting my photo out there. I used to be afraid of getting on a podcast. I was in my head. I didn't know what to say. I had a loud voice that said I was an idiot. And that's the voice that I heard. And I had to learn, what is the voices in our head? What are these voices anyway? Are they me? What's my ego? What does that even mean? What's my purpose? And I started hearing things from people, and I started reading books, and I read hundreds of books. And every time I read a book, my brain was blown. And there were certain books that I read 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And each time I read it, I learned something new, because you don't pick up information on the first time. You hear it over and over and over, and then you pick it up, and you pick up new things. You can only retain a certain amount of information, and then you have to apply it as well. And application of the information is really what matters. Just having information, knowledge, is not power. Applied knowledge is power. And so learning how to apply it, learning how to create those habits, learning how to keep those habits. Running in the morning, could you imagine me? I never ran in my life. The only time I ran was when somebody was chasing me because they wanted to steal my yarmulke because I'm Jewish, and somebody was chasing me yelling, Jew, 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 I want to grab your yarmulke. And they were trying to steal my pizza and my yarmulke when I was a teenager. That's the only time I really ran. But other than that, I never ran. I didn't even see value in running. And then I started learning, oh my gosh, running can change your life. So I started walking the length of time that I wanted to run. And eventually I started running 1 block and walking 1 block. And before you know it, I ran a mile straight and I was so proud. But one of the habits that I set for myself to be able to run every morning, and today I did 5 miles before 10 a.m.
Wow.
To be able to run in the morning was to set my exercise clothing out the day before. So I know in the morning, as soon as I get up, it's like a trigger. I see the exercise clothing, I see my sneakers, I jump into it. Once I'm in it, I'm just going to go. I'm not going to sit and procrastinate it. But if I don't have exercise clothing because I don't value it, I'm never going to set the trigger. So understanding how you operate and how you work will help you be able to improve every aspect of your life. And if you're happy where you are right now, if you're not frustrated, then there's nothing really that you need to change. You can just live your life. A lot of people are just happy in their routines. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm always looking to grow. I believe that progress equals happiness. And I believe that the reason why so many people are not happy is because they're not seeing progress in a variety of areas of their life. You are responsible for your life. I'm responsible for my life. And if I want to create progress, I got to change from having a fixed mindset to having a growth mindset. And no matter what age I am, I'm going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to evolve. I'm going to continue to learn, and I'm going to continue to impact other people. And by the way, the reason I started coaching is not because I needed money. I started coaching because I realized that when I train and coach other people, I learn new things myself. I learn new things about myself too. And so that's why I started a coaching business 3 years ago, and I've trained over 1,000 clients on how to use LinkedIn. And now we have a new AI course. If you go to newaicourse.com, we have a course that teaches people how to do business development and marketing using artificial intelligence. And people are loving it. We have hundreds of clients that have taken that AI course and love it.
Wow, that was amazing. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. It was just very, very inspiring. So yeah, and I will agree with you on the coaching. There's no better way to learn about yourself. I mean, first you start learning about yourself, and that's so fascinating that, the coaching other people to do that is also equally, or if not more fascinating and rewarding. So yeah, that's you're very wise and also knowledgeable about all kinds of marketing things. And so I really appreciate you having joined us today. This was really, really great.
I want to add one thing. I want to say that if you don't love yourself, nobody else is going to love you. And so how do you love yourself? How do you love yourself? It's getting to know yourself. I did not know myself. The self that I knew, I didn't love. I didn't love what I saw when I looked at the mirror. I didn't love what I saw when I looked at the scale. I didn't love who I was. And so I had to change my habits. And if you change your habits, ultimately, at the end of the day, you'll change your character. But it starts with optimizing your thoughts, knowing what's possible, and changing your actions. Your repeated actions become your habit, and your habits become your character. And when you take your sum of your character and you take a look at it and you love what you see, then you optimize human being. Because initially, in your life, most people are not going to love what they see. Most people can't even look at themselves in the mirror and say, I love you to themselves. Some people think it's arrogant or it's narcissistic to love yourself. But let me tell you something. You cannot love another person more than you love yourself. So in order for you to love another human being, in order for you to really be there for other people, you really have to love yourself. Otherwise, you're going to have jealousy. Otherwise, you're going to feel shame. Otherwise, you're not going to feel complete enough to be there for other people. It's important for you to love yourself, and it's not arrogant to love yourself. It's an empowering way for you to show up in the world. And if you really love yourself and you have confidence, if you have self-trust, self-confidence is self-trust. If you have self-trust, if you trust that you are enough, then you'll trust that other people are enough too, and you'll accept people and you'll stop judging people. When you stop judging yourself, you stop judging other people too. Mm-hmm. It's really powerful.
Yeah, really powerful. And it's powerful in the realm of money too. You really do kind of have to love yourself to show up and to feel that you deserve the money that you want to make. There's a lot of kind of combativeness in your mind about that when you go to make big money as well. So Yeah, Joe, thank you. I'm actually floored by this last 20 minutes. I want to cut it out and send it to my kids right this second. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. Please let people know once again, how to connect with you, how to join your group, how to get your AI technology, how to listen to your podcast.
Yeah, so if you want to check out the AI technology, you can go to evyi.com. That's eviai.com. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me on LinkedIn at joelinkedin.com. That's joelinkedin.com. It's really easy. It takes you to my LinkedIn profile. And if you want to learn more about our AI course, you can go to newaicourse.com. And always reach out to me if you have any questions. If you go to ajaxunion.com/podcast, I know we spoke about marketing. A lot of people want to learn about marketing. So if you want to listen to my marketing podcast, you can go to ajaxunion.com/podcast, and you can listen to our Ajax Union podcast. And I love being there for people. So if there's anything that you need, please let me know. Please hit me up on LinkedIn, but make sure to customize the connection note, and you can use Evi AI to do it as well. So thank you very much for having me. Really appreciate you. And thank you for being amazing.
Thank you for being amazing. And thank you for showing up and spending your time here today. It's very much appreciated. And I hope people will listen carefully. There was a tremendous amount of information in this show. So I will put your connections and your links to things in the show notes. And, I hope people will listen and take some notes and use the information. You'll certainly make more money and have more impact with the use of LinkedIn in the way that Joe described. So thank you, Joe, again. And thank you, audience, for being here. We love having you show up for the Money and You show every week. And we want to thank ubngo.com for helping us get this show out there and broadcasting it. And you can follow us. You can like the show. You can leave a review on all the podcast platforms. You'll also find us on Roku and the Limit Free Life YouTube channel. So reach out to me, Michelle, 2 L's at limitfreelife.com, and you can ask me a question or two or suggest people for the podcast or topics. We love that. And love it if you go to limitfreelife.com, sign up for my email list, and you'll get all kinds of information, financial information and otherwise from me. And we just love bringing the show to you and interesting guests like Joe. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next week.